best way I can illustrate this for you is straight out of my own life, this idea of humility. So I figured I'd share this story with you, although it's slightly embarrassing. Right? So I was sitting and talking to my wife a couple months ago about her and my daughter's day. What'd you do? How are things? She's like, well, something happened today. Okay, what? She's like, well, we're headed out of Walmart right there at that roundabout in between BP and Wendy's. You know what I'm talking about, a little roundabout. And there's a car right in front of them trying to get onto the roundabout. And as they're sitting there waiting for that car to get in the roundabout, my sweet little 4-year-old daughter from the back seat, my sweet little Emma, yells, "Go already!" To which my wife turns around and says, "Honey, I can't. There's a car in front of me." And she's like, "I'm not talking to you, Mom. I'm talking to them." Right? Pointing at the car in front of them to get on the roundabout already. And I'm sitting here listening to the story as my wife's telling it to me, and I'm like, we've really got to sit her down and talk about patience and kindness, right? Like I'm already thinking about the way I'm going to lay this on my 4-year-old and walk her through this. And she said, well, that's not the end of the story. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what? And she's like, well, I turned around to tell her, about patience and kindness. And I said, we don't do that. And she said, looked at me and just straightened the eye and said, well, Daddy does it. Right? Daddy yells at cars. Why can't I yell at cars? Right? I lost all credibility. There's no way I'm going to be able to walk my daughter through having patience and being kind in the car when I'm not patient and kind in the car. There's no possible way for me to do that. I lost all credibility because our credibility comes from humility. Credibility comes from humility. You are in the right to speak into people's life because of your humility, because of the way you present it, the way you bring it. I didn't have any right to sit my daughter down and say, sweet girl, you don't talk to cars like that, right? She'd been like, well, you do. Well, you're right. Neither does Daddy, right? So I couldn't set that example for her. So how do you take this holiness? You got to couple it with humility and bring that as a package together. That's what Peter is telling us. Why?